Was the German Tiger tank the greatest tank of World War II? Absolutely. Did its incredible power actually help Germany lose the war? The answer might surprise you. Today, we're diving into the legendary Panzerkampfwagen II, better known as the Tiger, to uncover the paradox of how being *to* good can lead to failure. When the Tiger first rolled onto the battlefields of the Eastern Front in late 1942, it was like something out of science fiction. Allied and Soviet tankers were in for a rude awakening. Their shells, from tanks like the Sherman and the T-34, would literally bounce off the Tiger's thick frontal armor. It was demoralizing. Imagine firing everything you have at a monster, only to watch your shells ricochet harmlessly away. Then, with a single deafening roar, the Tiger's infamous 88mm gun would fire, and it was game over. This gun, the KWK-36, was a marvel of engineering. It was accurate over incredible distances, capable of knocking out enemy tanks from over a mile away, long before they were even in range to fight back. German tank aces like Michael Wittmann and Otto Carius became legends, racking up astounding numbers of kills, sometimes taking out a dozen or more enemy tanks in a single engagement without so much as a scratch. The Tiger was more than just a tank. It was a psychological weapon. Its mere presence could send panic through enemy lines. So, with a weapon this dominant, how did Germany end up on the losing side? Well, the Tiger's greatest strengths were also its greatest weaknesses. First, let's talk about that armor. Up to 120mm of high-quality rolled steel. It was nearly impenetrable from the front. But all that steel made the Tiger an absolute heavyweight, tipping the scales at over 57 tons. For comparison, a Sherman tank was about 30 tons. This immense weight put an unbelievable strain on its engine and transmission. The Maybach V12 engine was a powerful beast, but it was pushing a machine far heavier than it was originally designed for. The result: the Tiger was a mechanical nightmare. It guzzled fuel at an alarming rate. We're talking about getting less than half a mile per gallon. In a war where fuel was becoming increasingly scarce for Germany, this was a logistical catastrophe. Convoys of fuel trucks had to follow these tanks around, making them even bigger targets. Breakdowns were constant. The complex, overlapping road wheels that gave it a smooth ride were a mechanic's worst nightmare. If an inner road wheel got damaged, you had to take off several outer wheels just to get to it. A simple repair that might take an hour on another tank could take a full day on a Tiger, often in the mud and snow of the Russian front. More Tigers were lost to mechanical failures and being abandoned by their crews than were destroyed in direct combat. The crews would often have to destroy their own multi-million Reichsmark machine simply because they ran out of gas or a gear failed and they could untow it back. Then there was the cost. You could build about 5 Sherman tanks or 2 T-34s for the price of a single Tiger. Think about that. While the Allies were flooding the battlefield with thousands upon thousands of tanks, Germany was painstakingly handcrafting these intricate, expensive masterpieces. The numbers just didn't add up. The Tiger was a perfect example of over-engineering. Germany's obsession with quality over quantity was a fatal flaw in a war of attrition. For every one Tiger, the Allies could field a whole pack of lesser tanks to swarm it, and swarm it they did. Allied commanders quickly learned that a frontal assault on a Tiger was suicide, so they adapted. They used their superior numbers to flank it, hitting its thinner side and rear armor. They used artillery and air power to immobilize it. The Sherman, for all its faults, was reliable, easy to fix, and available in huge numbers. A group of coordinated Shermans could outmaneuver a lone Tiger, get a shot at its vulnerable sides, and take it down. The war wasn't won by the single best tank, but by the side that could put more effective fighting vehicles on the field, keep them running, and overwhelm the enemy. The Tiger's production numbers tell the whole story. Only about 1,347 Tiger I tanks were ever built. By contrast, the United States produced nearly 50,000 Shermans, and the Soviet Union built over 84,000 T-34s. It's simple math. No matter how high a Tiger's kill ratio was it was astonishingly high. Often over 10-to-1. It could never overcome that industrial disparity. It was a heavyweight boxing champion fighting an entire army. So, was the Tiger tank a failure? As a tactical weapon, it was a terrifying and unparalleled success. It dominated the battlefield and created a legend that endures to this day. But as a strategic weapon, it was a disaster. It was too complex, too expensive, and too unreliable to be produced in the numbers needed to win a global conflict. It drained precious resources, manpower, and fuel that could have been used to build thousands of more practical tanks. Like the Panzer IV, the story of the Tiger is a fascinating lesson in warfare. It shows that the best weapon isn't always the one that leads to victory. Sometimes, good enough is better than perfect. The Tiger tank was a masterpiece of engineering, a steel beast that was truly too good and too flawed to win the war. What do you guys think? Was the Tiger's pursuit of perfection a fatal mistake? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into military history, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video. Thanks for watching.